Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to take a look at some interesting accusations being leveled against the production of the movie Chicken Run 2. Now, if you remember what Chicken Run 1, the original film, came out in 2000, it was from the same guys that did Wallace and Gromit, and it was done in the same kind of claymation style. And it was a relatively good movie. I remember liking it when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in years, but now apparently Netflix has bought the rights and they're in the process of creating a sequel. Now, basically what's happened is that the lead actress from the original film who played the character of Ginger, Julia, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Sawalha, she is claiming that basically she was brushed off and she was told by her agent that she is not going to be invited back to voice herself in the sequel, even though they are inviting people back from the original film to revoice the same characters. She has been replaced, and also the lead, Rocky, who was voiced by Mel Gibson. Now, Mel Gibson, you have an excuse. Mel Gibson, you have a legitimate excuse because of the stuff that Hollywood still has him kind of like on a semi-blacklist because of some of the stuff he said, way back. It was probably like 10 years ago now. But they've had him on like a semi-blacklist, basically. Like he's kind of like on Hollywood probation. Like they still let him make movies, or they still support him when he makes movies and stuff like that. But basically, they don't acknowledge him anywhere else. They don't really hire him for acting jobs all that much anymore, unless he gets a job in something like Daddy's Home 2. I think he was in that. But it's understandable, maybe, especially because, again, the film's kind of aimed at children. But even that, I mean, again, it was 10 years ago. Your target demographic was probably like either one or maybe not even born yet for Chicken Run. Because Chicken Run is probably like the demographic I would imagine is somewhere between the 8 and 12 to 13-year-old range, generally where you'd be aiming. But they chose to not have him back, so they have kind of a legitimate excuse for that, so I get it. And also, probably Mel Gibson was going to come with a very high price tag, because he probably did not come with one necessarily in 2000. Although, in saying that, I think that would have been post Braveheart. So I mean, I don't know, but maybe they just didn't have the money in the budget that they knew he was going to ask for. Now, Julia Sawalha has claimed that the reason why she was not invited back is because they believed that her voice had changed due to age. She claims that basically, usually in scenarios like that, when they have somebody come back and voice a character that they haven't voiced for many years, they'll have them do a voice test to see if they can still get the octaves correct to do the character. She claims that she was not invited in to do this, and that even after doing one on her own and sending it to them, they still said that she would not be getting rehired to replay the character. And she claims that this is ageism, which is a new term. Well, I shouldn't say new term. I know what it means, but basically it means that discrimination due to age, and they decided to tack it on because everything has to sound like racism these days. But it's not necessarily the case. Now she goes on this Twitter tirade basically and says like, oh, this is horrible. I feel slighted. I feel messed up, and I helped create this character with two of the producers that were working on the film, who are back again working on this one, by the way. And I get the idea of having an emotional attachment to a character that you helped build, you helped make this character, and then you performed this character, so you have some kind of a bit of a personal connection with it. So I understand that aspect of it, of why maybe she feels personally slighted. But at the same time, you also have to look at who they're inviting back. So far, there are 3 people on IMDb that are on the Chicken Run 2 cast. 2 of those people were in the original film. The third one was not. He's just some other guy they got. So the first 2 people are Jane Horrocks, and again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who voiced Babs, she was probably the funniest part of that whole movie. She had a lot of really funny lines, from what I remember. But the other thing is, unlike her, unlike Julia Sawalha, she is still acting consistently. Julia Sawalha has not done any kind of an acting role since 2016. And as for voice acting, I believe the role that she did was live action, although I'm not 100% sure on that. She hasn't acted in anything since 2016. So it's been 4 years. So they might just assume that maybe you're out of practice and you're going to have to go through an acting coach to get your timing and stuff down again, and that's going to cost them extra money, and they can't do that. In addition to that, maybe she's also going to use her, coming back as, a returning star from the original film to try and levy more money out of them again because she hasn't done anything in about 4 years. So they could be preemptively seeing that. But like I said, you look at the actress who they have hired, and she is still doing stuff in 2020. So she is still current. She is still doing voice acting and I presume live action acting as well. I think there were a few of those mixed in. And she's still doing these things. So she's not out of practice. She's still in work. People are hiring her, so it makes sense. And like I said, she's really just kind of like a comic relief character anyway, so you really just need to get the comedy timing down. Now, the other one is Lynn Ferguson, and Lynn Ferguson voiced the character of Mac. I don't remember him very well, but basically Mac seems like, you don't even have a picture for the actor. He seems like a very small side piece character. Well, not side piece character, but he's not necessarily a full lead character. And I'm assuming Lynn Ferguson, because he's kind of, his work history is very, or his voice acting history is very limited, they're probably not going to have to pay him a lot to bring him back. So it makes sense. And also, there are only 3 people on the cast right now. We don't know how many original actors they're going to have come back and reprise these roles. So far, we only have 2. Because, like I said, they already cut Mel Gibson, and apparently they also claimed that was because he was too old. Which, okay, I might be able to see that a little bit because it was 20 years ago, and he was kind of middle-aged then. Now he's actually getting old. And also this actress is accusing them of ageism. Or her character, Babs. Not Babs. God damn it. I can't remember her character's name, damn it. Ginger. I gotta remember that. But she's claiming that it's ageism when there are a lot of different factors that could go into this. Again, like I said, I've explained the 2 actors that are involved in it already from the original there's probably good reasons why they're coming back, not just because they can voice the same role. The other thing is that I'm not 100% sure that there's a script for this maybe not 100% a completed script, but we don't know if maybe they were going to have Ginger and Rocky kind of take a back seat and make it so that it's more, really Ginger's kind of the star of it, but take a back seat and have new chickens come and have a new movie so that they can start a new franchise, because that's really what Netflix wants. That's what they always want. That's what most studios want, is they want a way to continue this to make more and more money off of it and bank off nostalgia and make a semi-good product usually, or sometimes a bad product. So by introducing new characters voiced by different people that they can pay a lot less, and people that they can contract for a long time, then you can carry that series forward without the mainstays and try and carry it on with a new audience. So that's probably what their angle is. They probably don't give a crap about getting these 2 back. They're probably just like, okay, they're going to be gone after the first movie anyway, so why bother hiring these 2 back if we got to pay them an arm and a leg? We can just hire some other voice actors that can do the voices relatively well, and then continue on from there. So I can see from a business perspective why you wouldn't do it. There are legitimate monetary reasons why you wouldn't hire her back for the role, or at least there would be concerns for having her back for the role. So to call it because they're racist against her age, again, age is just don't use the word ageism. Just say that it is true. The reason why they gave for why they didn't want her back was because of her age, but that may not necessarily be the case. So the worst case, the studio are lying about why they don't want to bring her back, which means there are probably other legitimate reasons, like I just explained. Although why you would necessarily go with the age angle, I guess, is just kind of to avoid stuff, maybe to avoid that you don't want to pay her what she's probably going to want, or that you don't have faith in the actress because she hasn't acted in 4 years. So getting around that, maybe not criticizing her on a professional level, just saying like, oh well, we think that her voice has aged out. And also the thing is, they didn't make this public. Julia Sawalha, the actress has made this public after the fact, after they said that she would not be in it. I'm sure that it would have come out publicly eventually if they recast the character, but maybe they're going with an angle where maybe Ginger and Rocky just aren't in the film. Again, like I said, we only have we only have three characters so far that we know of. Maybe they're going to replace them with other chickens, and these are just the side characters are the side characters from the old one. Maybe it's a movie where they're going to go find Ginger and Rocky because maybe they left where they were at the end of the first film, and that's the whole journey is to find them, and we go on it with these new characters, and then at the end of it they do kind of like a Rise of Skywalker thing, but hopefully they don't follow it up with the Last Jedi. So that could be something too. We don't know what those characters' involvement are, level of involvement is in the sequel. So this could actually just be simply they don't need them because of the story, and they just didn't feel like clarifying it or going through everything because they can't leak any story points yet. So they had to send a generic message to her that basically had an excuse on it because they couldn't give away any plot details or any big plot details like that. So I don't know. There's a lot of this, but I don't think it's them discriminating against her specifically because she's an old person. I don't think I don't think Netflix specifically hates old people. It's not that's kind of insane because again, you're inferring the idea that they don't like you simply because of your age. In relation to any other quality or any other thing about you. For all you know, maybe Julia Sawalha is just a complete nutcase on set and nobody wants to work with her. And maybe there's a thing going on right now where she's been blacklisted for a bit because her on-set behavior is crazy and nobody wants to hire her. There's a possibility of that, too. We don't necessarily know. But I think that by saying it's ageism, you're taking it as this tiny little thing that you're hoping will drum up enough outrage so that they'll hire you. That's what this is. This is her going out and making a big fuss about it so that she gets hired back for a job that they don't think she can do. For one reason or another. So it's almost the reverse of cancel culture, which is kind of funny. It's like somebody doing this to get a job instead of make somebody lose one. Although technically, I guess she would make somebody lose one because whoever would get the part instead of her, assuming that, again, Ginger's in the film, that actress would then not be hired, so she would technically, well, I guess not lose a job, but you would erase a potential job. So that's just kind of how I feel about this. I don't think this is genuine. I think this is just somebody trying to be edgy on the internet because they didn't get what they wanted. And again, it might be for legitimate reasons. If it isn't for legitimate reasons, then yeah, I would probably say shame on Netflix for doing this. But if it's for a legitimate reason that people can find or people can infer, like Mel Gibson stuff, then I don't understand why people are believing this. But I want to know what you think. Do you think that Netflix legitimately hates old people, or do you think that there might be any number of logical reasons why they didn't want her to come back? Put your thoughts in the comments below as usual. I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button. Subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?